The summit was being held at a traditional Japanese restaurant in Shishibone City. When a black car stopped in front of it, 3 burly cops got out of it, followed by Oishi. They were welcomed by Sonozaki Corps members in equally black suits. It was something you didn't see every day.
Thank you for having us. We apologize for being late.
I'll take you to the room. Please follow me.
There was a sign saying reserved at the entrance. Oishi and his subordinates were taken inside. They walked through the restaurant's pretentious landscape garden, and they came to the gorgeous Japanese-style entrance. A woman in a kimono was waiting at the entrance, as was Kasai. Upon seeing the police officers, they stopped chatting and bowed deeply. The woman in the kimono was Mion's mother, Akane.
Nice to meet you, Mrs. Sonozaki. Thank you for having us today.
It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming all the way here, despite your busy schedule.
Not at all. I've been looking forward to the feast I'm going to have today. Kiyomizute is famous for its dried bean curd, right? I can't wait. Long time no see, Kasai-san. It's been forever since we last met in person.
Yes, it has been a while.
Well, we seem to be at war, but I'm hoping we can settle this like adults. Although, we're ready for an all-out war whenever you are.
No, we have no desire to fight.
Neither do we. Everybody knows how messy things get when you get involved, but I'd like to avoid that as much as possible since I'm not that young anymore.
I'll take you to the room. Please follow me.
I feel bad that our host is taking us to the table.
Well, I know we sent you the invitation under my name, but actually, today's host is the Sonozaki main family. I'm sorry for the confusion.
I see. Can I go back and get my bulletproof jacket?
On the other side of the door, there were several tables, and Mion was sitting at one of them. Since Mion was still young, her school uniform functioned as her formal dress. Still, it looked strange with both the police and the Corps members in black suits.
Hello. You must be the successor to the head of the Sonozaki family. Thank you for having us today.
Thank you very much for coming. Please take a seat. Mion politely welcomed the police, undaunted even though they were older than her parents. Mion gave Kasai a look, and he tapped on the door. The waitresses, who had been waiting behind the door, started bringing out drinks.
Oishi-san, what's going on here?
I'm not sure. Well, let's enjoy the meal first. Their dried bean curd is really famous, you know.
They started drinking, but the tension continued for a while. Mion made the waitresses and the other members of the Sonozaki Corps leave the room, and soon only Oishi and his subordinates, Mion, Akane, and Kasai were left in the room.
Well, let's start talking about why we're here today.
We're having this meeting today so we can resolve our misunderstandings.
Such as?
Kasai wanted to talk to you about Rena Ryuugu for personal reasons. Therefore, this meeting is about the private circumstances between Tatsuyoshi Kasai and Rena Ryuugu. The Sonozaki family has nothing to do with this.
What are these private circumstances? Ryugu-san lives an honest life. How can she have any kind of private connection with Kasai-san from the Yakuza?
Kasai?
Yes. Allow me to explain.
Kasai told the police officers that he happened to meet Rena at a coffee house in Okinomiya. He explained that Rena found something he lost there, and that she offered to bring it back to him.
That doesn't sound right. But for argument's sake, why don't we assume what you're telling us is true? What happened after that doesn't make any sense. I heard that you told your members to find Rena Ryuugu.
That is actually my fault. Rena-san's father was worried about her because she didn't come home after dark, so I sent my men to ask if anyone had seen her downtown, but I made a small mistake.
Wait a second. You made us come all the way here and now you're telling us to believe this bullshit. Could it be that you're making fun of us,
Oishi-san, please don't.
Kumagai tried to make him stand down. Officers with hot tempers pair with others who are good at calming them down, just like how Yakuza do. Oishi backed off with a grin. Kumagai took over, continuing from there.
So, what are you trying to say? Do you not want us to intervene because this is a civil matter between Rena, Ryuugu, and Tatsuyoshi Kasai? That's not going to happen. We're going to give her protection.
You need to explain to me why the police have to protect Rena Ryuugu to begin with.
Why? Because you guys are after her.
What makes you think we're after her?
Why don't you ask what's in your chest? It might know something.
Oishi-san, we're here to resolve our misunderstandings. It's your choice not to listen to us, but I think it's better that you do.
Oh, and what are we misunderstanding exactly?
Your misunderstanding concerns the scrapbooks of Mion Takano that Rena Ryuugu is in possession of. The officer's expressions grew stern all at once. All of a sudden, she'd gotten straight to the point. You want to protect Rena Ryuugu because she has the scrapbooks. Isn't that right? Oishi and his subordinates glared back at her without saying a word, making it obvious that her guess was right. Kasai. Akane gave him a look, and he left the room. However, he shortly returned, carrying a black suitcase. Every one of the officers assumed that there was a tremendous amount of money in the suitcase, and that the Sonozaki family was trying to buy them off. Kasai opened the suitcase and showed the contents to the police.
Are these...
These are Mion Takano's scrapbooks. I'm afraid we don't have the ones she gave to Rena Ryuugu. This is going to be our main course for today.
Do you mind if I take a look?
No, feel free. We can talk after you read them. I'll make my people leave if you like.
Oh no, you don't have to do that.
The cops produced latex gloves from their pockets, put them on, and took one of the scrapbooks out of the suitcase. There were more than 10 of them in there. We found them in Mion Takano's house in Okinomiya after she passed away. Oishi and the others desperately turned the pages of the well-thumbed scrapbooks.
Are you sure these are real?
Without a doubt.
Oishi-san, if Rena Ryuugu has the other scrapbooks, that means...
Maybe the ones she has have the same kind of stuff in them. Oishi looked stunned by the contents of the scrapbooks. He started turning the pages faster, then closed the scrapbook roughly.
Do all of these have the same kind of contents as this one?
Yes, they do. Feel free to take the time to look at them until you're fully satisfied.
Oishi-san, this is absurd. These are just crappy occult novels. This one says that the netherworld collided with this world, and that dead souls flowed across the gap. How are we going to use this as proof?
Well, yours says something about the netherworld. Mine is about creatures from the bottom of the ocean.
This one is about classified weapons of the Nazis. This one is about the legacy of the Mu continent. That one is about Aussie, the mysterious creature in Onigafuchi Swamp. We can surmise that Rena Ryuugu most likely has the scrapbook about the parasite theory we've all heard of.
Let me ask you something. Why was Mion Takano killed?
We have no idea what happened to Mion Takano and Jiro Tomitake.
Of course you don't. A liar doesn't call himself a liar.
Come on, Oishi-san. Do you think we'd do such a lousy job as to let the police find the bodies? Mion wore a cold smile. She had said too much. Akane cleared her throat as if to condemn the statement, and that made Mion shut her mouth. Oishi glared at the young successor. But he knew she was right.
Then, why are you after Rena Ryuugu?
We're not. I admit it's our fault that we made it look like we were after her. For that, we apologize. The reasons which made Oishi take Rena's delusion seriously collapsed one by one. Mion and Akane looked at each other. They must have decided to let Akane speak. She did so firmly. We'd like to ask you a favor. We don't want to be involved with the police because of nonsense like this. We heard that Sankai from the police headquarters started work with the Public Safety Division. They're going to do simultaneous raids on our family using this case as their excuse, aren't they? That had been at Oishi's request. We caused you some trouble during the dam conflict, but the era is reaching its end, and things have changed. We're a Yakuza group that sides with the weak and crushes the strong, but we're also trying to achieve peace and stability, in line with these changing times. If we get raided now, we're going to lose face.
Who cares about your face? I know we'll find something with those raids. We're going to go through with them.
If you find something, good for you. But if you don't, you know it will cause a big liability issue that even you won't escape lightly, Oishi-san.
Alright, it sounds like you really do want an all-out war. Huh?
If that is what you want, please carry out your job to your own satisfaction. We'll take on the challenge any time.
What?
Akane Sonozaki didn't betray Oishi's expectations. Although her right to become the successor was taken away, Akane had been through a lot more than Mion. Oishi couldn't back out now. But he knew it was a fight he probably couldn't win. Kumagai butted in and tried to calm him down.
If we put a stop to the raids, what would we get in return?
We'll give you these scrapbooks as proof of our friendship. I'm sure you can use them to cancel the raid attempts.
Oishi-san.
He decided to back off. It was hard for him to admit mistakes at his age. He grimaced with anger.
Kuma-chan, can you take over from here? I think I had too much to drink. I'm going to get some fresh air on the porch. Excuse me.
Oishi stood up quickly and left the room, making a lot of noise as he walked. Kasai closed the door Oishi left open. The room was filled with silence again. At that point, Kumagai opened his mouth.
We understand your point. Our intention isn't to cause trouble to all the organizations you own. So, I want to confirm that the police and the Sonozaki family will help each other to maintain the peace of this city. Therefore, we're going to put off doing the simultaneous raids.
Thank you very much. I'm sure our leader, Oreo, appreciates your concern as well.
As you promised, we'll take the scrapbooks. And there are 2 more conditions.
Go ahead.
First, if you find the other missing scrapbooks, you must bring them to us immediately. Second, if you find Rena Ryuugu, you must turn her over to us immediately as well.
I'm afraid the second one is unacceptable. Rena Ryuugu is in a state of delusion. We'll make sure of her safety, and we'll find the best medical facility we can take her to. She has the right to receive treatment.
We can't accept that either. We have the right to question her about the murder of Takano as a material witness, not as a suspect.
Akane whispered to Mion. Mion, in turn, nodded and began to speak. Very well. We'll accept the second condition, but let us add another condition on top of that. We're going to send her a lawyer. You will only question her in the lawyer's presence.
Understood. One more thing. You aren't allowed to delay us by not sending the lawyer on purpose. We'll start questioning right after we find her.
We have no problem with that. But you must contact us immediately after she's found.
We will as soon as we can.
You have to call us before you question her. You must call us the very moment she's found. This agreement is made in good faith, founded on our mutual trust. So please do be careful not to do anything that might waste it.
Understood. You have my word on that. We'll try to keep our promise with the best of intentions.
Akane and Kumagai glared at each other for a moment. Surprisingly, Kumagai was very calm. He was always in the shadow of Oishi, who was loud and noisy, but he had as much guts as a superior did. Oishi was good at taking care of matters in a rough and threatening kind of way, but Kumagai was good at negotiations like this. The meeting ended, and the police stood up from their seats. The tension in the room had finally ceased. Kasai put the scrapbooks back in the suitcase and handed it to Kumagai. Kumagai looked at Kasai, nodded lightly, and took what was offered him. This is a very expensive case made in Italy. Please take it as a souvenir from us.
No, we're only supposed to take the scrapbooks. We'll return it to your office later. Thank you for your time. Please give my regards to the family head, Oreo-san.
Special thanks goes out to all my priests of the Hog and my Elder Hog prophets, Adra, Chronoton, Eshok7, Grayman, Jonathan Hummel, Casey and Moore, Ventus Agri, Xavier Pena, and Yoko Elf. Thanks a bunch, guys.